event is an equipment rodeo, so similar to a regular rodeo, you're just using the equipment that we use on a regular basis to compete in different areas.
One of the primary focuses of the rodeo is to offer safety training to all the various participants. This year we provided 66 safety training classes in the span of 2 days. There are 4 distinct components to the rodeo. Of course, there is the event, operating the equipment through the course itself. There's also a pre-trip inspection where there have been some items intentionally disabled, and that operator has to identify what those deficiencies are. There's a written test that they have to complete, and then of course there's a safety training component of that.
It started as just an ADOT only event, and now it's open to the private sector, the contractors, the other governmental entities, the towns, and so on.
I work for Douglas Maintenance. We fix fence, potholes, drive equipment, plow snow, anything that's out there to do on the highway, we mainly take care of it. On this event here, we were driving trucks. It's a dump truck course. We have serpentine, we have S-curves, a parallel park, dock, alley dock. You gotta go through around and make your stops here at the stop bars.
455.75.
455, that was great. I think it was great.
I really do like the safety aspect out of this whole thing.
The guys can go back and say, you know, hey, there's something new out there that I've learned.
If I take a piece of equipment out, I want to make sure it's going to operate properly where nobody gets hurt.
The more information you get, the better you are.
It shows the skill, how to operate the equipment, the training that the state puts into the person to operate that equipment.
He looks like he got full score, and it's going to be based on time.
We had about 419 people who attended training for a total of 703 hours. So this really does help make traveling on the state's roadways as well as those of our municipal partners safer.
My primary role really as an environmental coordinator is to ensure compliance with environmental rules, laws, regulations, ordinances, guidance, policy, etc. for ADOT.
ADOT promotes a work-life balance. Here's the flip side.
Definition of a riparian system is really that which conveys water. My husband and I have a 10-acre riparian preserve just behind our house.
Take a walk with Julie Alpert and her husband Bob through their backyard.
There's another tamarisk to remove.
And it doesn't take very long to learn a little something about them.
Jack is our snake watcher.
Owning a riparian preserve suits them.
You want to stay up here or do you want to go down to the creek? Okay.
And this really, really takes my breath away.
I mean, we own it. We took out a second mortgage to buy this 10 acres, but it was so worth it. We didn't even hesitate. We just said, okay, let's do it.
When they purchased the property in 2007,
there is basically nothing here.
The landscape was much different.
It looked exactly like what you see on this side of the fence. There were no cottonwood trees, or very few, just a couple of little ones coming up here and there. Most everything had been cattle pruned to probably about 2 feet high.
In 2008, Julie and Bob fenced off the property to keep their hungry herbivore neighbors out.
So over here on the west side, you can see it's been cattle grazed and used by off-road vehicles. The shrubs are more open and it just doesn't perform very well for anything. And over here you can see quite the difference in the amount of shrubbery here and the tree height and the ground cover.
We haven't spent $1 on this other than the fence it off, and it came back on its own.
There's just a joy in knowing that it didn't take a whole lot of work or money and we let Mother Nature do her thing. We're currently close to about 130 different birds that come through the preserve at any time of the year. It's always been a dream to be able to take a degraded property and see it flourish and see it come back to a more natural state. Oh, good.
couple of years ago, the legislature put this law into effect.
Whenever you see anything on the side of the road, whether it be a
tow truck driver,
fire truck,
maintenance truck,
emergency vehicles with flashing lights on,
a highway patrol officer,
anybody on the side of the road,
slow down and change lanes, move over.
Move over.
Please move over, AZ.
It all started when the driver of this SUV developed a flat tire on the Red Mountain Freeway at about 10 a.m. this morning. It ended with a frightening and fatal 3-vehicle pileup. 2 people dead, a third fighting for their life.
The cops were as nice as they could be. They sat us all down at the dining room table and told us Dad had passed away and kind of explained a little bit about what happened. It's just not fair. We didn't get to say goodbye.
The dangers on the side of the highway are being hit by a car. We train our tow truck drivers to watch traffic, keep your eye on it, never turn your back on oncoming traffic, and that helps. But that's not all of it. You can only watch traffic so much. It's the motoring public that has to give you some space.
Pay attention to where you're going. Get rid of those distractions, especially when you do see the flashing lights ahead.
Previously, the move over law applied to emergency vehicles, DPS vehicles. It did not apply to road service vehicles and tow truck vehicles, nor did it apply to stranded motorists. If you've ever had that happen to you where you've had a flat tire and you're sitting waiting for someone to come help you, it's a terrifying experience to have those vehicles flying by at 60, 70 miles an hour.
just broke down.
And so we felt that it was really important for the safety of all motorists, as well as people whose job is assisting those motorists, to have that same protection offered to them.
It's scary. I was glad that I could get off the expressway and, getting off, people were flying by me. It's scary. It is.
We're averaging one first responder. That includes police, fire, ambulance, tow trucks. One a week are getting hit on our state highways, and that's just state highways alone, and that's far too many. As a highway patrol officer, we're driving down the road and we see somebody that could have moved over but didn't, we will stop them. You're looking at a moving violation, you will see some points on your driver's license, and you could be looking at a fine anywhere between $150 to $200.
I think if I could talk to the general public, I would let them know that we're out day in and day out, 24 hours a day, to help you and your family get home. Help us. Move over.
How hard is it to move over? You just have to think about if that was your mom or your grandma, would you want them to move over? If it was your dad, would you want them to move and make sure they were safe? Please move over, AZ.